Yogananda, Sri Yukteswar, Lahiri Messiah, Babaji, Lori G. Davis. They all had family relationships. They all had mothers. They all, well, except for Yogananda, they all had kids. Okay? They played their role in the family, but they weren't attached to that role because they knew what they were. Hang out with the people that resonate to your state of consciousness. That's your real spiritual family because they're supportive of what you want to experience within life. And then if you want to have other attachments to other friends and whatnot, some of you might know, when I want to have fun, I go and I play music. I play guitar and I play mandolin. And do I go and tell all my musician friends, oh, you should be meditating, you should know God, and all these sorts of things? No. I go, I hang out with them, I have a good time, and then I come home later and I meditate. Also, don't have the expectation that you have to be holier than thou or too pure. All right, just be a normal person and practice your meditation, and you'll be fine. One who withdraws sensory awareness from temptations, as a turtle withdraws its limbs, is firmly established in wisdom. The objects of the senses turn away from one who abstains from them, but the taste remains. Then, even this turns away when the supreme reality is apprehended. So, when you're practicing Kriya Yoga in your daily life, when you know there are things in your life that tempt you, things that you do which are not helpful, which are not supportive, which waste your time, which waste your money, realize that those temptations will be there. But you need to be strong enough to not indulge in them. All right? Don't get into the idea that this crap happened in my past and so I can't overcome it. Quit telling yourself that. Tell yourself you can overcome it. That's the first step. And don't say, well, they could do it because they were masters. Well, yeah, they're masters, but how do you think they became masters? Because they made themselves do what needed to be done. And what the God, the power, the infinite consciousness which is in them is also within you. The trick is they identified with that. They did not identify with their little self. So I'm encouraging you, do not identify with your little self. Identify with the same thing they identified with, which is that clarity of consciousness, that awake, ever-present state. Now, the last line, even this turns away when the supreme reality is apprehended. Remember, thinking about it helps you get a little bit of an intellectual understanding, but it's not the final goal. That experience I told you that I had when I was just there, and all of a sudden everything fell away, and I was just a point in space, and I knew that all this wasn't that serious, that I was eternal, and that was really great. Okay, when you have that experience, that realization, that is when even the craving for the taste of these things which tempt you fall away, because you realize they're not really what you think they are. They can't really give you that happiness. And once you experience that happiness, you're like, ah, that's where it's at. So the yogis have said, that's where it's at, this eternal self. Trust them. Trust them. All right? And then when you have the actual experience yourself, you won't have to trust them anymore because you'll know it. You won't have to talk about it. You won't have to convince other people of it because you will just know it. That is why you're meditating, why you come to things like this, why you study these scriptures, is to start to generate new grooves within your consciousness that prepare you to experience this natural blossoming that will occur. And it will happen spontaneously. It cannot be made to happen. It's just like water flows wherever the restrictions to the water are cleared away. And that's what meditation is doing. It's not creating anything. It's clearing the way for this realization, this grace to descend so that you can experience it naturally. And it has nothing to do with deserving it. It has nothing to do with being anything special. All it has to do with is you doing the work. You don't do the work, it doesn't happen. You do the work, it happens easily. But the key is doing it. Capital S, self-effort. Any final questions on what we went over today? This is really the essence of what it's all about.
You talk about techniques. The techniques are going to be the ones that are in the autobiography of a yogi.
Right, right. So pulling the current up the spine like we did today, that's the first one, the meditation techniques. And then after the initiation process, the Kriya pranayama that you learn, which is the 3-step process. Those are the techniques which clear the way for you to experience that clarity so that you can live appropriately and relate appropriately to life.